Road trip's over. Suns go 4-3 on the road trip. As on a Sunday afternoon, they visit Washington, D.C., our nation's capital. Don't know if you know this, but Bradley Beal played there for 11 seasons prior to coming to Phoenix this past offseason. And in his return, his only trip to Washington, D.C. this season, he has his best game yet. All the Bradley Beal naysayers, everybody who's frustrated with the way that he's been playing thus far, I guess they'll have to hold off on those thoughts and make another opportunity to circle the wagon another day. Because, Matthew, Bradley Beal, 43 points in 31 minutes on 16 of 21 shooting, a masterclass. Yeah, buddy, you knew that word was
Yeah.
coming.
I applaud you, just like Frank Vogel started applauding him when he left and everyone kind of joined in. I applaud you and Suns Geek for just being like, hey, it's good. He has a mask, right? He has tampons stuck up his nose. He'll be okay. And tonight he was all right. So he definitely bounced back tonight. And it was a good time too to score 40 plus in Washington. Great.
Yeah,
Washington, D.C.
it was great to see that. Just I feel like a lot of Suns fans needed to see that tonight from Beal. They needed to see that this is a really, really, really talented basketball player. There's a reason why he gets paid an exorbitant amount of money, and maybe it's too much. I don't know. I don't determine those prices, but he's somebody who has played the third fiddle for the Phoenix Suns this entire season, as he's battled back from injury after injury after injury. So being in a place that makes him comfortable, combined with the fact that Devin Booker was in foul trouble, opened the gate and allowed him an opportunity to ride that bull for 8 seconds and go for 43 points. So a great Brad Beal performance. The road trip is over. 140 put up by the Suns against one of the worst teams in the NBA. At no point was this game in doubt. It was a nice one. I got a little nap in the fourth quarter. It was one of those great games.
Yeah.
Matthew did his laundry.
I did do my laundry, and I was going to talk about it. I did 2 loads of laundry.
Hell
I was
yeah.
like, the game's in the middle of Sunday, but then
Yes.
you got to go to Sam's Club. You go to Costco, I go to Sam's Club. I'm like, you know what? I can do laundry during the Suns game. That helps out a ton. I know it's going to be a blowout.
We should note that, and you know this about me, mid Sunday afternoons, kind of my favorite time of the week. It's a nap time. And this game came on at like 1:30 Arizona time. I was like, oh man. Right when like 3:30 hits, it's like I'd like to take like a 2-hour nap every Sunday. It's just what I do. It's really hard watching football on Sundays because I'll sit there and you've been over to my house. You've watched football with me. At like the back half of the afternoon games, I'm just over there just conked out for 25 to 30 minutes. So that damn it, Suns, for doing this on a Sunday. But this win makes them 8-3 now on Sundays. I believe that's their record now on Sundays. So do what you do, Suns. Glad to have this trip over. Excited to see them come back home. So we'll talk about that and more on this edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. Hit the review. Crack them if you got them. Talk about the win. $140 to $112. The Phoenix Suns dispatched the Washington Wizards very handily. A 28-point victory. Biscuits in the Bear shows up in the chat as per usual. Thank you for donating via the super chat. $28. What a great get right game, says Biscuits in the Bear. Going to need this effort for Tuesday. Absolutely. Tuesday is the Milwaukee Bucks coming to town. So thank you for that, Biscuits in the Bear. Which brings me to my first question to Matthew.
Oi, Matty. Mate, I've got to ask.
All right, Matthew. Got to ask the question. Suns 4-3 on the road trip. Is this a successful road trip? in your opinion and eyes, or is this just something unsuccessful?
I think it's successful because, I mean, besides Bradley Beal getting hit in the nose, I mean, no one's really hurt. We're kind of in full strength. Besides Damian Lee, we have our team together. That's what I was looking forward to. Having Bol Bol back today. Well, he's been back, but this is the first game he really played. Having the team at full strength, that's a success for me. I think the record itself, of course, like 4-3, you played some crappy teams and then you should have won. Obviously, you should have beat the Atlanta Hawks, but I think just getting out of the stretch healthy is really a success for me right now. Before the All-Star break, you kind of just want that team healthy. That way, after that break, you can really hit the ground running. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
That's a great point of view, and it's absolutely correct. This is successful because the team is coming out of it without Damian Lee being on the injury report, and that's it. 4-3 is successful as well. It's a road trip. Now, granted, the Suns are one of the better teams on the road this season. We saw some amazing moments while on the road. Devin Booker going for 62 points in a loss. The game against the Dallas Mavericks. I think that if you asked any Suns fan prior to this road trip, knowing that this was the longest one of the year, what your hope would be for the record on this trip, it would be 5-2. You take a look against the competition against teams like the Nets and the Wizards, and you saw those were easy wins. You look at games like against Dallas and Orlando and the Heat, and you go, okay, we might drop 2 of those. Ultimately, the Suns dropped 3, and we could play the coulda, woulda, shoulda game, especially with that Pacers game. But 4-3 on the road, returning back to Phoenix, it's like baseball. It's the way I always look at it. You just want to win series. So if this road trip was a 7-game series, yeah, the Suns won it. If you're in baseball and you have a 3-game series on the road against the Cincinnati Reds, you want to win 2 out of 3. That's a successful trip to Cincinnati. This was a successful trip around the Eastern Conference, in my opinion. Now we return home, 50 games done, looking at the overall standings, knowing that there's still some opportunity that lies before them, but where they're set up right now, it's a good spot to be in. It's going to be a challenge moving forward because, again, the Suns just have a gauntlet of a schedule. But this win, they're 29-21. So I can't complain about a 4-3 road trip, especially, as you pointed out, Matthew, they're returning and they're healthy.
And it's the road record, if you guys care about it. I mean, 15-10 is pretty good. It's one of the best besides the T-Wolves. And you can see the T-Wolves, we talked about it before, how they're 6-4 right now in their last 10. They seem like the team that's going to kind of fall down in the standings. So I think there's a couple teams that the Suns can lap, and that would be the Kings and the Timberwolves. Yep. So that leaves them in a good spot, I feel like. So right now, I think after everything that's happened, I think after all the injuries, all the talk and all the shit in the beginning of the season, the Suns are in a good spot. And it's like, okay, they played the Wizards, but it's like they haven't really looked this good, though, even against crappy teams this year. So that's what's fun. It's always fun to have those starters at the bench in the fourth quarter rooting on Yuta, as Yuta is just killing the Wizards tonight with a 3 and a steal and all that shit. So that's always fun to watch and have closing out a road trip. I love it. I love seeing that, man.
Yeah, but last game of the road trip and your starters don't have to play much. It's right where you want to be. Now, one thing that's interesting is the remaining schedule for the Suns is still the toughest remaining schedule in the NBA. The opposing schedule has a winning percentage of 55%. Tied for second is San Antonio, Milwaukee, and Sacramento, and that's 52.7%. So the Suns easily have the hardest schedule remaining. That's why it's good that they're healthy, and it's why it's good to see a game like the one we saw from Bradley Beal, because you're going to need that as we go forth and have to navigate that schedule.
And she said, you're not the only one, but you're the best, Bradley. Bo, bo.
Wow. Wow. Bradley Beal, like I said, 43 points tonight. His best performance thus far as a member of the Phoenix Suns. An efficient 16 of 21 from the field, only 31 minutes played, 4 of 5 from beyond the arc. So he matched his entire three-point output since he had to put on the mask in the previous 4 games. He matched that tonight in just 1. 7 of 7 from the free throw line, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 rebounds. Just a great game for him. Is it true in your perspective that he played this well because he was back home in Washington?
I think that's one of the reasons, but I think he's just more comfortable in the mask right now. I think a lot of the issues he had, I don't think the mask is annoying, but I think it's the pain of his nose. Obviously, I think he kind of that maybe the swelling went down a little bit. Maybe he just feels a little bit better in that area of the nose, and it's just not as complicated as it should be in this game. So the way that the mask kind of just, I think, adjusted to him, and he's one with the mask. He takes it off a few times, but he's like one with the mask now. And maybe he leaves it on the rest of the season. Who knows? It probably will be a thing. But I think that's part of it. I think he's really comfortable back there in Washington, playing it there as long as he has. And I think that the way Beal can attack a game early on just shows you how versatile he is. Like, just defensively today, like I almost said tonight, defensively today to start the game was great, right? I mean, just a few, not pickpockets, because he didn't have any steals, he didn't have any forced turnovers, but he was in the way of the Wizards a lot early in the game. And I think that the way he got Nurk involved early in the game, that was fantastic, because everybody was just drawn to him in the paint. So he's feeding Nurk. It's like, this is my game. I'm back in Washington, so I want to score 43 points. But it's like he got other guys involved early, and he still got his 43. But it's great to see. I think that's what makes us all happy right now, is because he got him and Bol Bol back looking good. And it's like, Grayson Allen kind of fell off a little bit in the last few games. It's just because, they're trying to get Beal more involved. And I know Vogel did talk about having him play the point a little bit more. So that's good. That's really big to focus on, because defensively we can talk about how they do suck, and they do suck defensively. So it's just about getting this offense to where you just can't do anything about it for the opposing team. So once that offense is that scary, it's going to be just impossible to stop.
It begs to question if it's something that the Suns want to explore, is trying to get him involved a little bit more offensively early in the games. He had 14 points in the first quarter, which also is a high for him this season. So it makes you start to wonder. But you also, as you pointed out, Bradley Beal took advantage of what the Washington Wizards defense was giving him. And I use that term lightly, because their defense was non-fucking existent in this game. That first quarter, the first half, I kind of felt like the Suns were playing in an all-star game. And because there was just simply no, like, I've watched a lot of basketball this season. I have not seen a team so uninspired on the defensive end like I did with the Wizards tonight. Maybe like the last half of the fourth quarter, when the Suns were playing against the Clippers and the Clippers were just doing a layup line against us. That was the worst I'd seen the Suns all season. Like, this was their first team unit, and they all were out of position. They were all gambling. The Suns were just nice and easy, taking their pace, with Bradley Beal leading the helm, and he was dissecting them based on what they were giving him. Like you said, when they would try to, when Jordan Poole would try to guard him heavy, he would just either smoke him or find Jusuf Nurkic or kick it out to Katie, who's wide open for a three. Everything that we've wanted the Phoenix Suns offense to look like happened tonight against the Washington Wizards. And it's not because the Suns are that great on offense. It's because the Wizards are that bad on defense. Like, they looked really bad, man.
Yeah, it was bad. And the way it's bad is because of those cuts. Like, I knew it was coming every time Nurk had the ball at the top. I mean, it was a Beal or KD would just cut instantly. It was there. It was just like a pickup game, man. It was so easy for the Suns. And that's why it's like, I don't know how much you take away from this, but it's just the effort of the Suns continuing to pound down the Wizards all game, because they normally don't do that. So that's that's a big positive that I took from it. But just the way that the Suns really attacked them in different areas, just getting to the rim, just obviously wide open from three, every guy. I don't remember how many times Book came down the court and he was just wide open for a little pop-a shot from three. Like, and he didn't make them all, obviously, but it was just like, okay, you're gonna give me spacing, I'll just shoot. That's what Book does. He comes down, no pressure on him, he's gonna take that shot. So very lazy. A lot of timeouts called. The Wizards, that's just, that's why they're one of the worst teams, obviously.
They have won 9 games thus far this season, and it was great that Phoenix opened up on an 11-2 run and never looked back. I mean, we've been through last time we played the Wizards, right? That's what happened last time we played the Wizards. We were down 16. We had to come back and win behind like Grayson Allen going crazy, and we had to win. I think we won 4 points at home. I was at that game, and I was just like, are you kidding me? It's the effing Wizards. And it was obviously led by the focus and comfortability of Bradley Beal tonight. And there's a lot to be said about going home, right? And you saw it with KD too, because KD's from the DC area, but these are two players who are going to be comfortable there. They've got plenty of people in the stands. You have Bradley Beal, who countless times through 11 season has walked through that arena, knows the security guards' names, is just happy and comfortable and having a good time out there. We know that about Beal, is he's somebody who likes to play with the love and joy of the game. And he was in a comfortable arena where he's going to be able to play at the level that he likes to and have a good time doing it, looking at the fans, taking that mask off as quick as he can so he can kind of do the memeable looks, which is a challenge for him. I mean, the first few games, it's like you try to look memeable with that mask on. It just doesn't work. But he played absolutely great with that 43 points. Welcome to the 40-point club, Bradley Beal. First time you've done it this season. Biscuits in the Bear says, fun fact, Beal has officially scored 30 points against every NBA team now.
Wow.
So there you go. Makes sense considering the fact that he played in Washington and he couldn't do it before. Looking at some other performances tonight. I think I clicked a button, did I?
Dick Booker.
What was that? What did you say?
I think I clicked a button. My computer's like lagging. I click a button.
Yeah.
Okay. Devin Booker tonight, 26 minutes played. He was 4 of 11 from the field. He had 14 points, 6 assists, and 4 fouls. One was actually he almost got hit with his fifth. They had to review it. The only reason I bring up Devin Booker is I appreciate his willingness to go out there and put himself in foul trouble so Bradley Beal can go off tonight.
Yeah, that was on purpose, right? I love the
be.
fact that he almost hurt his tailbone too. That was awesome. You know what I mean? So that he made sure he was totally out of the game. That was nice of him. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that, it was obviously a long road trip. Devin Booker did his fair share of doing the heavy lifting for this team. And tonight he's just like, you know what? I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to do some of the dumbest fucking fouls. I'm going to play overly aggressive on Jordan Poole. No reason. And I'm just going to take myself out of this game. I'm tired. It's been a long road trip. I'm going to take myself out of the game.
He looked tired when the start of the game. Of course, Beal, he felt great. He looked great. Booker looked like he just woke up from a nap, like John. He was just like, what's going on? He's all fist bumping everybody, just walking to the center court. He's just like, what's going on, everybody? He's like,
he's fist bumping the wrong team.
Yeah, he was just tired. And like I feel like there's a few plays like Poole, like that one he hurt his tailbone, a little dirty. Usually I feel like Book might stand there a while, might say something, but he's just walking back to the bench every time. It's like, I don't have the energy for this today, dude. So not a whole lot of complaining either. So he was relaxing on the bench most of the game, which was nice to see.
Yes. He's like, I just want to go home.
He made the All-Star game, so he's good.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I got player of the month. I'm All-Star, headed to Indy in a couple weeks. God, All-Star game's coming up quick, man. It's what,
18th?
the 18th? Yeah. All-Star Saturday. When are they going to announce the 3-point participants? Because I want to get pissed off about Grayson Allen not being included soon. He
probably won't be because he's kind of fallen off a little bit because of the focus, I feel like, on Beal, but he should be in. And he's not going to be.
100%.
Sorry, Jamsters. I bet you he's not. Well, you know what? I'll manifest it. Say he will be. He deserves it.
I feel like whatever I say is always wrong. And I feel like he's like, I have a shell of a piece ready to go for brightsideofthesun.com. One of the things you got to do when you're a writer and you manage a website like that is you have some feeder pieces ready to go. I had the one ready for Devin Booker. I'm like, he's going to be an all-star. And I had that thing ready to go. So once they announced it, I inserted the tweet and sent it. If you look at like when they announced when he was an all-star to like when we published our piece, you're like, wow, they're on it. I got the same thing for Grayson Allen. I've had it for like 2 weeks. I'm like, when are they going to fucking announce it?
Yeah.
And I've got I got 2 verbiages and they're like, fuck, he got snubbed and yay, he made it. But I have fuck, he got snubbed, I think, first because I just have a feeling that's
like Shams Charania, huh? You're just over there, just like you have your sources inside, like Flex from Jersey. You know what's going on, man.
Yeah, he's Flex from Jersey. I'm Complex from Phoenix. Bol Bol returned tonight.
Look, up in the sky! It's a bird! It's a plane! It's
Bol Bol, motherfucker. It's not the greatest stat line out there. 15 minutes played, 8 points, 7 rebounds. It's good to have Bol Bol back, Matthew. Give me some Bol Bol love.
Dude, I think it's a great stat line. I love it. And you know what? There's some excuses I can hear, right? Oh, it was the Wizards. Oh, he's long. He should do what he should grab those 7 rebounds. We've had a lot of chances against shitty teams this year for guys off the bench to step up. Bol Bol right now, his confidence is through the roof. And why does he have confidence? Because when Bradley Beal's going off and Beal's still on the floor, Bol Bol takes 2 shots in a row. He takes 2 shots, one of them from 3 in the corner, and then he just takes another one from top of the key, just running down just top of the key. That's the confidence this guy has. He's talking back to refs. Man, this guy is like, he's totally different. I'm glad he came back from injury and he's still the same dude he was before he left.
Yes.
Because we need exactly what he's bringing, and is that confidence. And he's just so versatile. I really think he's so key to the Suns offense. Defensively, he can get lost a little bit. But I mean, every guy on this team, even our superstars, suck on defense. I'm just, unless it's KD playing against, LeBron or whatever, but we're not really a defensive team. So there's a few times you see him just like kind of stumbling and find his guy, but at least he knows where he's going. He needs more minutes, man. He needs to play a lot of minutes heading into after the All-Star break, heading into the playoffs. I want to see him play at least like 20, 25 minutes a game at the 4. Just see what he can do, because you saw it tonight. I don't care if it's the Wizards. I really don't care how shitty the team is. Like, the way he steps up and just wants the ball and just his putbacks is exactly what the Suns need.
Yeah, you're right. The way that the confidence that he returned with is something that I had in my notes. Is he's coming back just like he left, and that's exactly what you were hoping for. That there wasn't going to be a big ramp up time, and I don't care if it is against the Wizards. Good. I'm glad it's against the Wizards. That's the perfect team to come back against, so you have an opportunity to kind of get your feet wet. I was concerned with one of his baskets because it was the same kind of basket that he hurt himself against. God, was it the Heat? On the 11th, where he goes across the key and he hit it. He hits that like 8-footer coming across the key. That's the one where he landed on somebody's foot and twisted it in the game on the 11th against the Heat. But outside of that, I think that he's a permanent fixture in the rotation. I think that he's somebody who's going to continue to give you positivity in every minute that he plays. Not every minute, but he impacts the game. And that's what he did again today. And it was great to see that. It was great to see that he was willing to take that 3-pointer. It was great to see him pick Jordan Poole's pocket and then has the wraparound behind the back dribble.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when he was fighting the refs, because I think it went off of one of their feet and they said it was
No,
off
they called him
something.
for traveling. They said he was traveling.
Oh, double dribbled. He did double dribble.
Did he?
He did.
He just
dribbled. He
so
brought
high.
the ball up. He brought the ball up because he was getting ready to pass it, and then he decided to bring it back down and go for it. So that little wrinkle is something that the Suns are in desperate need of as we prepare for this upcoming week, which is the week in which the trade deadline occurs, February 8th, this Thursday. There's going to be a lot of conversations around what do the Suns need. And we hear about an athletic wing. Well, you have one in Bol Bol. He just hasn't had an opportunity to really play due to injury. And you know that is one of the factors that you have to navigate and think about when you talk about him as a member of this team, that he has an affinity for being injured, but he also is giving you those vital minutes off the bench, and they're productive at the same time. The rebounding is big. And you're right. I will secede your point on the defensive end, because there were about 3 times in this game where he just was lost. Like, he was on the wrong defender. He didn't rotate on a defender, high screen and rolls. He just stayed, like, both defenders stayed on the wrong guy. And then the ball was passed to the guy who rolled, and they were chucking up threes, but they were missing the 3. So the Suns weren't burned by it. I was like, oh, but you're right. No one knows how to fucking play defense on this team. So it's like, what's the real point,
Yeah. But he does kind of make up ground. My favorite part, though, is like he does get frustrated. There's something about him where I know when he messes up and he beats himself down a little bit. I know the next time, like, it's not like he's going to correct it, but he's going to improve on it. It's not going to be the same. That's why I'm saying he needs some minutes. He needs to stay out there a lot longer. KBD was the same thing earlier on, but KBD's production is not nearly as good as Bol Bol. But Bol Bol does bring such a dynamic, like just decision making sometimes, where if he does decide not to shoot the ball or take it to the rim, like he can find the guy like cutting and stuff, but he he's just so impactful and long that he just knows like he can dominate any kind of situation. Like he can dominate any kind of defender and get to the rim and do what he wants. Like that's kind of what you want in this kind of guy. Like we're trying to find another guy that can score, that can come off the bench and like just get points for you, right? So he has a potential, but it's gonna take some time, dude. Oh, where's he? Where's he at? There he is.
My computer is being so lame. I don't know. It's just like freezing on me. I do want to give a quick shout out in the chat to the Aussie Suns Fan podcast, the Celebrities Aussie Suns Fan podcast. They were featured on the show. They were showing they have the weirdest hashtag for that thing. The Suns, it's like hashtag Couchside Fam. Like if you do a hashtag Couchside Fam and you take a picture on Twitter or Instagram, the Suns might put it on during the game, and the Aussie Suns fans did that. So shout out to Gavin and the boys who were doing a watch party. And correct me if I'm wrong, if you are still watching, let us know. Are you guys like 0-3 when you do watch parties? Because I feel like every time the Aussie Suns fans does a watch party, the Suns lose the game. I see our buddies doing it, and then I'm like, hey, we lost that game. So you guys, let me know what your record is.
I think it's 0-2.
I think they've
only had 2, right?
I think they've had 3.
Oh, really?
Yep. Confirmed. 0-3. So Gavin, I'm just letting you know, stop doing them. Okay. No watch parties in the playoffs. Okay. So he says Boyd is a jinx. No, I think all you guys are a jinx. Whenever your powers combine,
like one guy.
The Sun, it's one guy. It's Boyd. Good. Boyd showed up. It was his fault. Kevin Durant.
Who the heck are you?
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
My favorite statistic from tonight as it pertains to Kevin Durant, it's not his 7 of 9 from the field, which is nice for 18 points. It's not his 4 rebounds or 3 assists or 2 steals or 1 block. It's his 26 minutes played, Matthew. I love that KD played just 26 minutes tonight. You know, that's obviously, as we talked about with Devin Booker, was in foul trouble. Kevin Durant has been playing a ton of minutes this season. And if you can play against a team like the Wizards and Kevin Durant plays 26 minutes, guess what? That's fantastic. That is his lowest amount of minutes played in a game this season. Way to go.
Yeah, it's the way it's supposed to be. And like him and Nurk just laughing on the court because of how easy those cuts are and stuff. Like,
I know.
That's the way
they're
these
like
games
telegraphing
are
them. He's like, Nurk, cut now. Nurk's like, now? He's like, yes. He's like, okay, cut.
Yeah,
done.
I know.
That's how bad that defense was.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Like this is how these games should go, and this is like the first one I feel like where Katie just kind of relaxed most of the game, right? Everything's been such a hassle all season long, so it's just nice to see. Just a little thing though, in the second quarter though, him and Beal really have to get that down. Like there was 2 turnovers. They had 2 turnovers in the first quarter. Then they had 2 within the first minute and a half. It wasn't just Katie and Beal, but just as that unit. They had 2 within the first minute and a half of the second quarter. So obviously it's the Wizards, so it doesn't matter, but that's just crucial. If Beal and KD can get that down with that lineup to start the second, that's huge. Because for me, I think I mentioned it before, where we keep saying we want that backup point guard, whatever. Like those instances, if they can figure that out, then you don't need that backup guard. You don't need that other guard, right? I mean, Vogel did say he wants Beal to play more of a guard or handle the ball more. Mm-hmm. This is his chance for him and KD to figure that out. And like, I don't know. I was gonna say something else about Nurk, but we'll probably talk about Nurk in a little bit. So I'll stop there.
Nurk's up on my list. He's upcoming.
Okay, can't wait.
Yeah, but I just, the way that Kevin Durant, as you mentioned, from a ball handling standpoint, that's one of the reasons why. And I talked about this a lot on the last podcast because I know that anytime the Suns lose or anytime the Suns have a bad fourth quarter, you start to get some of the anti roster construction people come out of the woodwork. They like peek their head out and they're like, we need a real point guard. Like that's always what the reason is. It's like, well, then if we need a real point guard, then why would the Suns just fucking awesome the first 3 quarters of the game and then sucked in the fourth? And the turnovers that occur aren't necessarily turnovers because of the fact that there isn't a primary ball handler, the turnovers occur because the Suns start to get lazy and the Suns start to take risks and the Suns start to stress and push because they know that they've played bad in fourth quarters. It's a multitude of things. It's not one quick fix. And it was kind of funny. I don't know if you watched the last podcast that Suns Geek and I did together, but we literally opened the podcast talking about how bad the Suns were with their turnovers. And then it was just like, okay, I guess we'll talk about the game. But it was as simple as the Suns just turned the ball over 17 times and had 8 turnovers in the fourth quarter. And that's why they lost the game against the Hawks. It came down to that. The reason I bring all this up is because, again, it's a reminder that when you have somebody like Kevin Durant, you don't need necessarily a true point guard. And that's the way that this roster was constructed, because you have Devin Booker, because you have Bradley Beal, because you have Kevin Durant, because you have Jusuf Nurkic. All 4 of those players are capable, able-bodied passers and can dissect opposing defenses. And you saw that tonight, especially when you play a shit defense like the Wizards. Then it becomes really, really easy to do. And that's what Durant was doing. And then he found himself open and 3 of 3 from beyond the arc. It was just a nice, smooth, easy game from KD. Exactly what you wanted to see. I love that. And I love the fact that the Suns played literally everybody in their lineup tonight. Everybody played. There's no DNPs. And they didn't just play like 2 minutes. Like Nasty Nas had 8 minutes along with Yuta Watanabe, who we'll talk about momentarily, Keita Bates-Diop, and what have you. So any other thoughts on KD before we get all Nurkalicious in this piece?
No, just the fourth quarter. I know it's always going to come back. So if they could do something like, Phil Jackson used to just serenade everybody with like some dust or whatever, like, makes it
yoga
more sensual
dust
in there. So they maybe need to do that. There's something mental, obviously, and to get rid of that is the sensual dust. So that's
sensual dust at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Noted.
Nurkalicious definition make them boys go crazy.
Oh. Nurk was having his way. 7 of 11, only played 25 minutes, 13 rebounds, 18 points, 8 assists. God, he was 2 assists away from a triple-double. Just a great game from Nurk. Gafford stood no chance. And it's interesting because Gafford's one of those players who you look at and you go, wow, I would love to have him on my team. And he reminds me kind of Nick Claxton. He's a little beefier than Nick Claxton, but he's somebody who could put together some really good highlights. But when you watch him play on a consistent basis, you probably don't see the need or want being there anymore. And he's somebody who Nurkic just fucking owned. And I completely agree with CL Oracle in the chat. I love Nurk Daddy so much over DA, man. I really do. I love Nurk Daddy and D.
I love him too. I was thinking he kind of looked like Taj Gibson out there. I was like, wait, is Taj still in the league?
I think he
like
is.
That's what I thought it was. So the most badass part about Nurk is in the second quarter, he grabs a board from Grayson Allen. Like Grayson Allen has it, but he grabs it. And I'm like, why did he just take that from him? Like, of course you want the stats.
Yeah.
But it's like, no, KD's down the court and there's already a mismatch. He hurry up, grabbed it. 2 seconds later, KD has an easy little jumper over. I forget who it was.
Yeah.
But the guy was like 5 feet tall. But Nurk saw that right away, pushed the ball. And even like run up the court a few times. Like if KD, he's covered full court press, they'll give it to Nurk to run it up. So that was just a badass play. Obviously, Nurk has been amazing. And yeah, he's been a great player for the Suns.
Eddie Yee in the chat asked this question. Is Nurk underpaid or DA way, way, way overpaid? DA is way, way, way overpaid.
Yeah.
And that was the challenge with DA. If he was making $16 million a year like Nurkic is, he can have those nights where he's shy away from the ball or he's not focused. And you're like, well, he's an average center in the league relative to pay. So Nurkic is what a state, because Nurkic does get owned. Like, we're not going to sit here and gush over Nurkic and say he's perfect. No, he's definitely has his flaws as a player, especially late in games against quick guards where they run isolation basketball. Then they run a quick high screen and then they make the switch and then he gets burned. So DeAndre Ayton has all the physical abilities, but he doesn't have the mental game. Nurk has the mental game. He just doesn't have all the physical abilities. So, and like Kiko says, Nurk's what this team needs.
Yeah, he's a perfect fit. Obviously, that was a thing coming in. He's the fit, and a lot of us didn't believe it. But you know what? He was kind of like a prove it season for Nurk. in a way. You know, he had to prove
Mm.
himself to everybody because no one believed in it. I mean, a few of us were excited, but
Bill Simmons will never believe in it. You know,
never. He actually did own up to it, I think, a few pods ago. He did.
Yeah,
He's
but
like, "You know
even
what?"
then, he breezed over it. He breezes over it and goes,
Yeah.
"Yeah, but I still don't trust it." Like that's
He's
always
on-
his thing, real quick. It's just
he's
like
still high on Vooch.
yeah, Vooch. Gosh,
What
darn.
happened to his take with the Minnesota Timberwolves? Remember, we were driving up
Oh,
to
God.
wherever we were going,
Yeah.
and he was talking about the Timberwolves being the NBA champion. You
Mhm.
had to have length, all that. All of a sudden, it was like 2 pods ago, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't believe in the Wolves. I don't believe in that team." I'm like, "What?" Of course. Okay, whatever, dude.
He's like, every
Play
team
with my
needs
heart, dude.
multiple big men. That's the answer to the league. Look, the Timberwolves through 25 games are owning the league because of their multiple big men. Therefore, the
Yeah.
league has shifted. And we're like, no, it hasn't. Just on a long enough timeline, watch what happens. Don't get me wrong. Like the Wolves, still a good team. Second or tied for first in the Western Conference. They're a damn good team, but we got a long way to go. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Listen, you don't want to get overly hyped when Watanabe is playing 8 minutes and goes 3 of 4, including 1 of 2 from beyond the arc, 7 points and 2 steals against the second and third team of the Wizards. But man, if he could just figure it out, he could be such a huge asset for this team. Loved what I saw when I woke up from my nap in the fourth quarter with 6 minutes left. And, I was like from the middle of the third to the middle of the fourth. I'm just like, I'm just going to kind of
It's okay.
get comfy, a little comfy on the couch here. And just,
Mm-hmm.
I liked what I saw. It's a confidence builder. That's what we need from Yuta Watanabe, is to build that confidence. We know that when the postseason comes, it's going to be a tight rotation, probably 9 to 10 players, and Yuta might be on the outside looking in. If he can work himself in to be a sharpshooting three-point shooter who can come in and play 8 minutes and relieve those minutes off of the heavy hitters like Booker, Beal, or Durant, and give you some semblance of offense, it would be massive. We've got a long way to go for Yuta, but it was nice to see him out there. It was nice to see Yuta being the shooter.
Yeah, that's why you need the blowout victories to really see these minutes from these guys. And this was like the first time this year we had that. So it was nice. It was kind of funny to watch on the bench and them cheering him on. And I noticed KD had his jersey or his shirt over his nose. I don't know if he was laughing at something. I don't know if those guys.
Somebody probably pooped.
I was gonna say it reminded me of Sean Marion when someone would fart and he would cover his nose and you could see him do this or whatever. I don't know. He did. I remember that a few times. But that reminded me. I don't know if he was laughing at just how bad the Wizards were. You know how Yuta 3 for 4. I'm just saying the Wizards looked really bad even against our second unit, our third unit. So maybe that's what he was laughing at.
I mean, it's definitely possible. Or they were just over there. They're having a good time. There's Yuta's out there hitting some shots finally. Thank God. I don't know. Or maybe, there's him, Booker, a Kogi. I think those are the only carryovers from last year. Maybe they were just chilling on the bench and they were making jokes about Landry Shamet.
Oh yeah! Shabba-labba ding-dong!
Sneaky.
Oh, Landry Shamet. We got to see Landry Shamet play today. Comes off the bench for 21 minutes, goes 6 of 10 from the field, 1 of 4 from beyond the arc, 13 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Landry Shamet revenge game. Yeah, maybe they were just busting jokes on him for looking like sneaky guy. I don't know.
Who knows? 13 points is crazy, man. I didn't even notice him though. So
I know.
I forgot he was on the Wizards. My bad. And it's weird he's not a starter, I guess, but you do have Jordan Poole and.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the Wizards. I've got a few things. One,
yeah,
Jordan Poole, 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from beyond the arc, 4 total points from Jordan Peele. Or Jordan Peele. Did I say Jordan Peele?
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Poole. Is he? And this is a very loaded question. Is he the worst contract in the NBA? Because he is on the first year of a 4-year, $128 million contract. He's making $27.4 this year. That bumps up to 29.6 next year, 31.8 in 25-26, and 34 million in 26-27. He is horrible at basketball. I remember when the Suns came to town, was it in December or early January? I don't remember. And I was down there watching Wizards shoot around. It's something that both you and I do. Rather than watch the Suns shoot around, we see it every time. We watch the opposing team shoot around. And Denny Avdia was amazing to watch up close. Like, he's really skilled. Jordan Poole comes out and he's just chucking fucking 28 footers. Like, that was his warm-up routine. I'm like, this guy is ass. He's just focusing on trying to shoot like Trae Young, Steph Curry type shots instead of perfecting the skill in his game. He is not good. He's got to be the worst contract in the NBA, dude.
Yeah, you were talking about Jordan Poole, right? Because I thought you said Shamit. I'm like, wait, hold on.
Oh no, I'm
like,
sorry, Jordan
no.
Poole. Jordan Poole. The whole thing. That was all Jordan Poole. If I said Shamit, I got sham brain. I got sham brain. No, Jordan Poole was chucking 28 footers as part of his warm up routine. Everybody else, Denny Avdia is going through the inside game, outside game. Coaches are working with him on pushing him off his spot and having him hit shots. Daniel Gafford had a good workout that before the game. And yeah, lazy Sasquatch, Walmart Trae, Jordan Poole is out there just chucking 28 footers. That's all I saw. I'm like, are you serious? He's bad, man.
Yeah. Just really quick though, Trae Young, total all-star snub, insane numbers that guy has.
Yeah,
I always like Trae Young. So
he'll be there. He'll be there though. I mean, what's his nugget? Julius Randle's hurt, so he'll get in as an injury replacement.
And
he should.
Another one too.
And he should.
Yeah, he should be there. Jordan Poole, though, I mean, to me, there's only one thing. So I think it's just the poontang from him. I think just he hit stardom so quick, and I don't think he was supposed to be that guy. So the lifestyle, all that, maybe that has something to do with it. Because he just obviously is a very ignorant dude that's never going to play to what the coach wants. It's just, that's what it seems like, right? It's kind of like a DA in a way, right? I mean, it's just like there's a potential there. There's something there. If you work on your game, maybe learn from the stars around you in Golden State, maybe you'll get somewhere and not get punched in the face. I don't even know how he really just comes back and just resurges his career in a positive way. It could happen, but it just seems like he fell off. And it's funny because like he does so many horrible things on the court, just horrendous. You never see, but it just doesn't faze him. So then obviously I think that's good too, because he just doesn't care. He's out there just balling and do whatever he wants to do. He's already making the money. So it is kind of like a DA situation though.
Yeah, the difference is he was drafted 28th overall by the Warriors in 2019.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time in the G League and then just kind of came out of nowhere. Remember, he was part of those Warriors death lineups. What do you do? They got Clay, they got Steph, and now they've got Jordan Poole, and he put up 20 points a game last year with the Warriors and 18 and a half the year before. And we all thought that going to Washington, knowing that he would have free reign because that offense is so horrible, he's only averaging 16.5. His field goal percentage is the lowest of his career outside of like his first season when he wasn't getting much playing time. And he's gone from somebody who used to shoot 36.4% from deep. And that was his peak 2 years ago, right before he got paid. He's shooting 30% from deep now, and he's just chucking dumb shots. So I pity the Wizards for having that contract, and I pity the Wizards for these uniforms. I don't know what your thought. Me and my uniform observations.
Yeah, these are bad.
I do not like these. They have some. For those of you who didn't watch the game, I'll do my best to describe these. Black jerseys that have the district written in orange, almost in an old English style. And then it says of Columbia in a green that can only be described as the same green/teal that the Vancouver Grizzlies used to utilize. A stripe that kind of a triangle that cuts into the middle of the uniform that makes half the jersey and half the shorts gray. When I saw the court, somebody, Holden Sherman was covering the game for Brightside. He's actually at the game, and he had some pregame workout footage. And I saw the court, and I saw that teal, and I was like, "What?" I didn't know that these. Jesus Christ, who the hell? Those guys are assholes. Fucking drag racing right outside. So you need to stop doing your podcast from Phoenix International Raceway. But I didn't even realize these things existed. These are bad, dude.
Yeah, it's like Dungeons and Dragons. It just reminds me of Skyrim.
Dungeons and
Honestly, it
Dragons.
kind of makes you want to play Skyrim. I know you've been. Were you Skyrim-ing it up yesterday, today?
No,
what were you playing?
I am
Kinda said you were playing
playing
something.
Assassin's Creed
Okay.
Odyssey. So it's the one that's in like old Greek times. It's fucking fantastic.
Okay, what did these do remind me of that? And I was just thinking, I'm like, what are these players' reactions when they first see these things? Man, they have to wear them because no one likes these. So what's the point of them?
I don't know. They're not good.
No one likes them.
Oh, I don't know, Jamsters. Every now and that's what's interesting about these this trip is we've seen some city editions. Like I hated the Nets too. So you were hanging out in DC today, right? You were there?
I was there.
You were absorbing those jerseys. So let's do this. Let's do this. The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
That's all I got, baby.
Oh,
All right. So obviously,
you got to start.
returns.
You got to start looking up like Elvis lyrics beforehand, and then work some stuff in there. So, like,
yeah, one more.
Love me
So funny,
tender.
Someone actually commented like, "Oh, I can't wait for Batman tonight or Batman today for subreddit." I'm like, "Oh, well, sorry to let you down, bud, but I'm here." And I did subreddit, and it was pretty good. There's a lot of Beal shit. Someone said, "Fuck it, I'm cheering for Beal today. Not a Washington fan for the remainder of the game."
wow,
Makes sense. I guess, a long time there. They're pretty happy to see him, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
You never know how good it was until it's gone. That's what everyone says. Yeah, so depressing. This is the first time Beal's played defense in this arena since 2019. Very true, right? And also we're talking about Poole. They were talking about Poole and Tyus. I can't wait until Tyus and Poole are gone. A lot of trash about those two.
Really? Yeah. If I was
obviously.
watching Pool every night, man, I mean that would be we would do Pool watch or we'd have some segment where it'd be talking about like how we want to drown ourselves in the pool because he is just not good.
Yeah. Are we drowning in the pool yet? Yeah. I can't. Oh wait, I just read that one.
Oh.
So is this what it's like to be on the receiving end of a Beal ass whooping? I remember those a lot.
Yeah, we do.
Book and Beal used to whoop our ass all the time. Why do I want to make fun of Katie's male pattern baldness? That's not very nice. He looks really good right now.
Well, at least
I
they're
think.
questioning themselves. Like, why do I want to do this? Am I a bad
Put it out
person
there.
for wanting to do this?
And then last one about Devin Booker. How do we feel about the book ones? And someone actually did reply, heat. They
Ooh.
liked it.
Well, they did. So the book ones that he was wearing tonight are very similar to the Kobe Pro-Tro 5s that or 4 or 5s that Book would wear a lot for the last 2 seasons. So he actually has some of that color like that. So it looked really good. Aren't you gonna give me like a thank you very much or anything?
Thank you very much.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
Does he have pistols? Did he used to do the double pistol thing?
I don't know. He used to have it like he brought a pistol to the White House and like showed Nixon or something.
Oh, there you go. That's maybe where I got it from. I don't
So
know what that
here's
was.
your assignment is before the next subreddit stakeout that you have to do. Just go watch the Elvis movie and pick up some things, and then
I
you'll be
can't
like-
watch that. I try to watch it.
You're gonna have to.
I don't like
It's
I
for the
don't like
show.
movies.
It's for the show. Like I watch The Dark Knight once a
I'm just
week,
gonna-
just so I can get the voice
Okay.
down.
Then I'll jiggle my crotch in front of the camera the whole time, and then we'll just go from there.
Subreddit
Yeah,
stakeout.
where everyone's freaking like, that twitch he had. I saw the beginning where he's just like twitching it or whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
what he was doing.
Yeah, he was changing pop culture in America forever.
Jam star of the game.
All right, Jamsters, a reminder, subscribe, rate, review, 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Matthew, we have some. We
Get out of town.
We do. I got some stuff to read today. Here we go. Let's see. We got 2 that came through on the 24th. So thank you. For those of you who don't know, if you go to Apple Podcasts, you rate us 5 stars and you write a review, we'll read it right here for you. So let's do that. Let's start with Corey DF. Says, I never miss a show. With every high and every low, the Suns Jam podcast always brings it. Thank you guys, Corey from Colorado. Thank you, Corey from Colorado, for taking some time to write a review.
Thank you.
And then we have Mrs. Sarah Tran. Sarah Tran, John Tran and Sarah Tran. They're always in the chat. John says some of the funniest shit I read in the chat, so I appreciate that. It makes me giggle. If you see me giggle, it's not because my cat just walked underneath my chair and I felt her whiskers on my leg. It's because John Tran probably wrote something funny in the chat. Says, Jam is where it's at. Well, guys, it's no longer just about the game. It's now watching the game with my hubby and then listening to you guys following. Love the breakdown, transition music, and I will never forget when Dolly Parton was on the show.
Yeah, that cost a lot of fucking money. So I hope it was worth it.
Thank you for all you do. I don't podcast, but I jam. So thank you, Mrs. Sarah Tran, for that comment. That was fantastic. Taking a look at the Jam Star. I think this is a no-brainer. It's Yuna Watanabe, 8 minutes tonight. He was just absolutely fantastic. It was nice to see him make a shot. No, I'm kidding. It's Brad Beal, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it's Brad. And then also, too, on Spotify, we have 5 more reviews. We're still at 4.9, so I'm assuming they're 5 stars. So that's nice to see.
Good. Keep letting people know we're the best place to watch the post-game show is. Taking a look at what some of the Jamsters are saying. Jones and Since 80 says Bradley Burt Beal. Is that really his middle name? That can't be right. Matthew, I need to check out Basketball Reference.
Right now, actually.
Saul says BB3, John Tran, Bradley Beal, the Jam Star. Kiko's got to be Beal, right? Saul says BB3 over CP3. Suns Fever, Jam Star tonight is definitely Beal. Lazy Sasquatch, the real deal Beal. New Hope Manny, Jam Star, Jordan Goodwin homecoming. I wonder if he got a video.
Forgot about that.
CL Oracle, Bradley Beal was jamming. Hashtag Jam Star. Shig says Yuta Watanabe. And then Andrew says Beal for sure. So there you go. Bradley Beal returning. Next up for the Phoenix Suns, they return home and they play the Milwaukee Bucks, Matthew. This is going to be a good one. It's like I said, every game upcoming, it feels like we're just playing really, really good teams. The Bucks, a team that is 33-16, lost a couple games with Doc Rivers, but now they've won yesterday. They're playing Utah Watanabe tonight, the Utah Jazz tonight. Good team, a great team, a weird team to fire their coach when they were 32-13 or whatever, and they fired their head coach. Thoughts on the Bucks, man?
Yeah, Giannis is just like a weird personality, so maybe that's what it is. Because before, they won the championship, he was a perfect guy to win a championship. First, the Suns, you want to support him, everything he does for the league. Now it's just it reminds me of a Full House episode where Stephanie just reaches superstardom, and she's such a fucking dick to everybody. He just reminds me of that. His interviews and stuff where he's just kind of dickish and does what he wants, which is fine. He can do whatever he wants, but he's not the same Giannis. So maybe that played a part in it. I know there's probably something weird between him and the coach. But I'm so glad we don't have Doc Rivers as coach, honestly. Obviously, it's going to take some time to adjust. I haven't watched them with Doc, but I know that they talked about how there's a lot of focus on Damian Lillard handling the ball towards the end of the game and how they're going to actually split that up with Giannis and how it just looks kind of wonky right now. So I know they did beat the Mavericks, but I think they're a beautiful team right now. Just it's nice to play a team defensively that's not going to be too much trouble, but it'll be nice to test our offense against that other offense.
100%. And it's a late game. It starts at 8 p.m. So
yikes.
Yeah, one of those fun 8 p.m.ers. Somebody sent me something. Justin did. So it says Jay sent me a highlight video of Giannis low-key being a really dirty player.
Yeah, he is.
He is. You hear all these great things about Giannis because he seems like a great guy. Hell, I met him once in person, and he was really nice to me when I met him. But you watch the way he plays, and he lands in people's landing spaces. He's kind of a dick. He's kind of a dick on the court. So I kind of have this animosity right now after watching that video, and it's a perfect time to see that video because we play them in 2 nights. I was like, yeah, fuck Giannis, fuck the Bucks, man. Fuck Jay Crowder, Dame time. Bobby Portis, close your eyes.
Blink once, please.
Love of God, man. Just blink. Grayson Allen is no longer on your team, so I love him now. Campaign, so it's definitely going to be an exciting game. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see this because this is the first time we played him this season, right?
Yeah, it is. And it looks like a tough schedule, I guess. I was looking at it. I was like, this isn't that bad, but it's of course nice to have the toughest schedule to head into the playoffs with because you can test yourself. But I don't think it looked that bad when I was looking at it first glance. So I don't know. This is probably the hardest game, and I know they play the Thunder pretty soon, but it didn't seem too difficult, I thought.
Well, if you take a look here, you can see that we've got 2 against the Celtics, 2 against OKC, 2 against Minnesota, 2 against the Clippers, 2 against Denver, 2 against the
but the
Bucks.
in-betweens aren't too bad. Like there's some there's like a back-to-back to the Rockets, and it didn't seem too difficult. I know those are hard teams, but it's nice to play those teams late in the year.
Let's see. Who has the easiest remaining schedule? Orlando and Boston. Jesus. Good for them. Must be nice.
Yeah, good for Boston.
Yeah, good for Boston.
Never win a championship.
Fucking good for Boston.
Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Yeah, geez, thanks. Well, that's over. Do we win or we lose on Tuesday?
I think I'm gonna say the Suns lose.
Wow. I haven't been doing a good job of keeping track of this. I've been keeping track of our jam stars, but I haven't been keeping a good track of who wins and who loses and all that fun stuff. But yeah, it's been a long time since I actually did that. The last time I asked you was like when the Suns were playing the Wizards last time, which was a long time ago. So yeah. So I mean, we'll see. I think we win. I think we win this game. I think that behind the home crowd, I think the Suns are healthy. I think they're playing well, even despite losing a couple games on that road or 3 games on that road trip. Back at home, emotional game upcoming against a team that beat you in the NBA Finals, albeit it was just Devin Booker was the only guy left from that Finals team. Like not even the coaching staff, like Kevin Young and him are like, hey man, remember a couple years ago? Like that's pretty much it. So we shall see. Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
The only other thing I had in my notes was Eric Gordon. Does he remind you of like your son, like your 10-year-old son's best friend from next door, who's just like really polite and really like just, well educated, but then he runs really funny. He runs so funny, dude. I don't know. I just had that.
Totally see. It's like your kid's friend next door comes over, always knocks, always really polite. But when they go out and they ride bikes, like he's the one who just like looks kind of wonky riding a bike.
Yeah, he's just a little different.
He just can't ride it. He's always kind of veers to the left or right a little bit. And you're like, careful, there's traffic out there. I can see that.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I had.
Okay.
That's all.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
Well, Jamsters, we appreciate you hanging out with us as per usual here on the Suns Jam Session podcast on this Sunday afternoon. We'll be coming to you live after the Bucks game, which will be a late one. So yeah, tune in then, subscribe, rate, review, give us those 5-star reviews. We're reading right here on the pod, man. That's all I got, Matthew. Let them know what to do.
All right. Go home, love your family, everybody, please.